Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Week 10 edition of the Pigskin Pick Em. I'm your host, Maddox Diltz, alongside our FSN analysts, Oscar Adams and Dalton Arredondo. And today we're going to be discussing the matchup between Frisco High School and Memorial High School, possibly Frisco High School's third bye week, but we'll see. So I'm going to stop stalling and we'll get right into the Pigskin Pick Em. So this is already seen to be a very unbalanced matchup, unfortunately. On paper, it might not seem that way, but as we've seen from highlights and just being at the games, it's a very unbalanced and undistributed. So I'm going to start with talking about the key facts we need to know about the heavy hitters of this game, Frisco High School.
So with Frisco, right now they're currently first in their district with a total of a 7-1 record. And their only loss is to Denison, and Denison's actually like a pretty good team. And defense has gotten stronger over the second half of the season with a total of 13 sacks. And right now this is if they get first seed in the playoffs, this will be the first time in 28 years it has happened. And unfortunately for Kari Green, there's no backup for him. So basically, I see an unbalanced matchup.
Okay, now the no backup thing is pretty concerning, if I might add. And 13 sacks just shows that their defense is improving. Now, we see you scruffing over here, Oscar. Let's talk about Memorial for a second. What are your opinions on paper?
Well, Memorial, it's pretty unbalanced. They don't like the situation they're going into this week. I mean, 1-8. They haven't won a game since they beat Salina in week 1. They beat them 42-40. Salina's 4-18. They are significantly less talented than them, or at least on paper they should be. Salina does not have the same amount of people that they should have, that Memorial has. They did win a state championship. That was 10 years ago, a decade ago, in 2009. Not a good time. Yikes. They don't have a lot. However, Memorial does run a 2-quarterback system, throwing in Ethan Lawler, the sophomore quarterback, in garbage time. And in garbage time, he has been able to do really nicely.
Now let's clarify, what time is garbage time? Because that's a lot of times throughout the Memorial games.
This is true. They have not had a lot of good times this season. 1-8, 8-game losing streak, not solid for them at all. However, it's their first-year seniors, and I like to see some energy from them into this game.
Yeah. Now, who are the players that we need to look out for making the big plays? Who are the key people that are going to be driving this game to the end? Frisco High School starting, Dalton.
So with Frisco, they rely on their running game with the dynamic duo of Bryson Clemens and Blake May. So with Bryson Clemens, he's touched the ball over 140 times total, and he's also got over 1,000 total yards and a total of 15 total touchdowns.
Very promising.
Yes. So it is the sky's the limit for him. And for Blake May, he's done pretty good for a backup running back, backing up Clemens. He's got closing on 400 yards, and he's got 3 touchdowns to add to his resume. Now the quarterback, Kari Green, he's had somewhat of a good year, I'll say. He's below 50% passing percentage, and that's a bit concerning.
Always a good time.
Unfortunately, I do think that is due to relying on running the ball or the Denison game, because the Denison game he was 2 for 18,
Oof.
which
Yikes.
is not very good, especially with what he had lined up for him, and especially as a junior starter. He has a lot more to go.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyways, but he has been able to do not too bad. He's got like over 1,000 yards passing, and his touchdown interception ratio is 15-3. Most of the interceptions came probably from the Denison game, and the receiver for the Raccoons is obviously Chase Lowry. He's had a good year. He's got 642 total yards and 7 touchdowns so far this season.
Very promising for all parts of their offensive line. Now, let's talk about Memorial for a second. Now, on paper, do they stack up to Frisco?
I mean, I can make the argument that they stack over Frisco. I mean, Charlie Flowers, get this, 1,566 yards. Great numbers. Solid numbers. 14 touchdowns. Pretty solid. 8 interceptions.
There it is.
Oof.
He turns the ball over.
Interceptions.
He loses. He does. It's 8 interceptions, and it's sad to see. It means that he turns the ball over. He gives the other team opportunities to score. He loses points for his team, and he puts them down early on, or maybe even late in the game. He takes away chances for them to lose, and that's the scenario we saw back when they played Lebanon Trail. They losing really in a disheartening way.
Losing to Lebanon Trail is honestly if I may add, another level of disappointing.
It really is. Two of the worst teams we expected to see.
Especially not to mention their homecoming game.
Homecoming game. That was
was
well. That was
like
the homecoming game, but yeah, it's still very disheartening to see. Charlie Flowers has been able to do somewhat good. 57 point. He's gotten 52.8 completion percentage, and Ethan Lawler, his backup, not bad at all. He's gone 45.1 percentage on completions. Not very good, not very accurate. However, 637 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions on only 46 completions. He's been able to launch that ball pretty nicely.
He's had some promise. Lawler and Flowers are both very stacked on offense. And let's talk about the rushing game. Now, it is very concerning, the stats for their leading rusher. If your leading rusher has less than 300 total yards, that's concerning.
I will say that with that, one of the things that comes with running a 2-quarterback system is you're not necessarily having to rely on running the ball. If you've got 2 quarterbacks in, necessarily means you're probably passing. Chief Ferguson, all right, #1 running back for the Memorial Warriors this year, 277 yards, 3.6 yards an attempt. He's not meant to run the ball. He's just meant to get the short carries, get a first down that's short.
And to give them yards. Just meant to give them yards.
He is meant to give them yards. He's only at 77 attempts. He's not meant to be a running back. I mean, you see other teams over here giving them 100 plus, 120 or so. I mean, with Bryson Clemens, 127 attempts. He's meant to be a rushing back. He's the center of this offense. Chief Ferguson, I can definitely say, was not meant to be this offense's key player.
Unfortunately, I do think that's a pretty unanimous decision amongst FISD members. Now, receiving, they do have some promise in their area, having all three of their leading receivers, the 3Js as I like to call them, Joel Shea, Jeremy Liu, and Jacoby Bullock, all having a decent.
Joel Shea, 34 receptions, 578 total yards, 6 touchdowns. Not necessarily the best, however, it's good. Jeremy Liu or whatever, 28 receptions, 375 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Pretty solid numbers for a #2 wide receiver. And Jacoby Bullock, 16 receptions, not the best. However, get this, 301 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not as many receptions. However, he's been able to get that ball moving. He's been able to carry the ball downfield. He's done really solid. With their numbers being as small as they are, it just means that Charlie Flowers has been able to spread the ball out. He hasn't had to rely on only one receiver, and he's been able to distribute it pretty solidly.
That is very true. I have a lot more confidence in their receiving game than I do in any other part of their offense. Now, let's get into some score predictions, the thing that sparks the most controversy here in the FSN studio. Now, I'm actually going to start with you, Oscar, since I know you've been heating this up for a while. So give us your score prediction based on the stats on the board and how you think this game will go.
Well, first year with seniors. Memorial is here. They don't want to end on a 1-9 season. That's going to be awful. 1-9 season is not the way you want to end out. We have Memorial. I like them. They not necessarily confidence. They have the will. They have heart, and I like the underdog. I like to see underdog. And on Halloween night, Thursday, at the Ford Center at 7 o'clock, I'm going to see...
Amazing plug, Oscar. I might admit that.
On Thursday night, Halloween, I'm going to see Memorial beat Frisco 40-35.
Now, Oscar, I love you.
Yeah.
But this is not the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the Dolphins of this district. No, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's your opinion.
I like it.
Support it. Support it. Keep the helmet on if you'd like.
I would love it.
It's okay. Now, Dalton, what are your, let's say, conflicting views about the score prediction?
So this game is going to determine on the Memorial's passing game and Frisco's rushing game. Now, let's face reality. Frisco's rushing game is definitely better than Memorial's passing game, and therefore, the final score for the game at the Ford Center Thursday night at 7 p.m. is going to be a Frisco win over Memorial, 55-14.
Whoa.
So no trust in the Memorial offense, huh?
Yep.
We're just going to say Charlie Flowers is bad?
I think it's safe to say that we can put up this for Memorial, unfortunately. No one pay respects. No one needs to pay respects.
I don't
Oscar,
like that, no.
Oscar, you might want. Do you want to pay respects to Memorial? Would you
They're
like
not.
to?
They're gonna need to. They won't need to pay respects. We won't need to get paid respects because we're gonna come away with a win. We're gonna embarrass Frisco at the Ford Center. It's gonna be amazing.
All right, now before we start killing each other here in the studio, I'm going to end this out. Ladies and gentlemen, this game will be at the Ford Center at 7 p.m. on Halloween night, as Oscar so generously plugged about 10 seconds earlier. I'm your host, Maddox Diltz, alongside Oscar Adams and Dalton Arredondo, and you've been watching the Pigskin Pick 'em.